Aiming in Counter-Strike 2 does not have to be complicated. Today, I'm going to help you understand how to improve your aim so that you can maximize your skill level inside of this game. I'll be giving you the tips that help me go from being a CS2 noob to an FPL pro. As the video progresses, we will go from the basics to the tips that help me rise to the top. Let's not waste any time and hop right into the fundamentals. Crosshair placement is going to be 90% of your aiming inside of Counter-Strike 2. If you're unable to visualize where your opponents are peeking from, then you are constantly going to have to rely on flicking. I want you to be able to be comfortable with flicking, but we should not have to rely on them. For beginners, the best way to build crosshair placement is simply playing on the maps and starting to understand where your opponents are going to be peeking from and where to hold your crosshair at head level. The second thing that ties into crosshair placement is your movement. Two important mechanics you can implement early on in your Counter-Strike career is counter strafing and donk sliding. Very difficult to understand, but it's not that hard to actually start implementing into your gameplay. Load up the workshop maps, aimbots, and practice keeping your crosshair near head level. I want you to focus on using your A key to move left, and then cancel your momentum with D. Once this happens, hold down your shoot button and you are now counter strafing while practicing shooting. Now to donk slide, you're going to again swing with your A key, and then hold crouch as you counter strafe to kill your momentum and start sliding the other direction. As you're doing this, you are going to shoot, and that is donk sliding, essentially just a crouch shoot, because in Counter-Strike 2, when you're crouching, you are completely accurate. Training these movements early on will help you be more fluid with your aim and less stationary as we hop into more tips. This video is brought to you by SkinsMonkey, the best CS2 trading site out there. Swap out your low quality skins for fresh new ones using all of their trade features. I love the filters that you can use to get the exact skin that you desire. I have personally used SkinsMonkey to build my inventory over the years. Right now, use my code CoJo at the checkout for an insane 35% deposit bonus. The best part is that you will receive a $5 bonus by clicking the link in the description. Let's get back to the video. Recoil training is extremely vital to developing muscle memory with your sprays. It is so hard to wrap your brain around, but I have found that focusing on the first 7 to 8 bullets in every pattern for most guns is relatively easy, as you are just pulling down in some sort of way. The spray pattern is essentially broken up into two for your standard rifles. The first half is purely vertical, and then the second half of the spray is purely horizontal. 5 minutes a day in Recoil Master Workshop Map will have you feeling very comfortable with your sprays. Just keep pushing yourself a little bit more and more until you start to get more bullets on target. The best way to get reps in with your mechanics is playing Deathmatch, usually shortened as DM. I would suggest playing the Valve DM servers if you are new to CS2, and if you are starting to feel really comfortable with the game, I would suggest using community servers such as Waze or Prac.com. These servers are going to allow you to practice against pros through a rotating config that focuses on all weapons. My advice is to go into your DM training with an actual purpose instead of just mindlessly running around. Spectate pro players and see how they approach their fights and their training. One of the best tools that you can use for training right now is Refrag. As far as I know, almost every single pro player is using this. It's a website that allows you to launch custom servers with training game modes. I'm not sponsored at all. The beauty of it is that you can be training against bots on maps that you are actually going to play inside of your games. So for me, I start with aimbots 20, which allows me to wake up, start getting into the swing of things. I'm drinking my coffee, listening to some music, shooting bots, training the fundamentals that we talked about earlier. Then after about 6 to 7 minutes, I will start intense training on crossfire mode, which has simulated bots that are going to peek out at you. Especially as you get higher elo within the Refrag training system, they're going to shoot very fast, and it's going to force you to actually isolate your fights and worry about your positioning while aiming. You can introduce your donk slides, your jiggle peeking, your counter strafing, all these good things that you should already be training and focusing on into some actual simulated scenarios. Then I'm going to shift over to X-Fire training, which reinforces your crosshair placement as you shoot bots around the map. It's also a bonus. It's going to teach you how to path properly as you just follow a line around the map getting kills. There's dozens of unique game modes on the site, and it's an absolute must-have tool if you're serious about improving. If you're someone who prefers a more hands-on approach to learning about the game, then I would strongly suggest getting a coach who can work with you to shortcut through the growing pains of the game. For me, I work with hundreds of students to teach them things that help me make it to the top of Counter-Strike. If you want to work with me, fill out my form down below, check out my prices, and I'd love to see if we can get something going. For those of you that want some more free stuff, I stream daily on twitch.tv/CoJoMoCS if you want to learn live. One last thing I wanted to throw in at the end of this video is the fact that information on your radar through communication and just overall game sense is going to help you have really good aim. It's very difficult when we're playing this game and there's a lot of things going on in our mind. We're not very clear with how we're aiming, where we should be looking, where our enemies are, and ultimately we just run in and it's hard to have good aim because of all of these distractions. One of the things that I learned through progressing and growing in the scene is that your radar is going to tell you everything. If I have, pretty bad spacing with my teammates, which a lot of us are going to have in our games, and they're running up on the site, and then all of a sudden we see our teammate die, and on the radar there's a guy sitting on site. Maybe it's the last one, right? Maybe there's one guy alive and he's in this situation we're retaking. Well, then obviously I can then put my crosshair into the wall and get ready to swing that position that he's going to be on. So many of you guys are lacking with your aim because you don't know how to visualize and you don't know how to play off the information given. Same thing when we're retaking the B site here. It's difficult, it's hard. But if we know the last guy is in this dark position, then I know I have him pinned and maybe I could just wait depending on how much time I have. I can put myself into a position where I want to actually hold him, or you can get aggressive and swing him. Ultimately, what you have to do is find positions you like to play. A lot of players are really uncomfortable on CT side because they don't know what they're doing. I don't care what plan you have, what level you're playing at. If you can just have a plan and commit to it, I promise you're going to be more successful than if you're just randomly running around the map. For a lot of players, it's playing off angles, like a position like this, and just feeling comfortable. Saying, I'm going to kill this guy. And, I'm going to visualize what it's going to look like. And boom, when he peeks me, he's dead. If you're just mindlessly running around and you don't have this idea, of course it's hard to aim because you've got too many distractions going on. So simplify it. I made a whole video on this topic teaching you how to simplify your aim. I strongly recommend you check that out to expand on the things you've already learned from this video. I'm really proud of you for working hard. I'm really proud of you for training. I want you to become the best Counter-Strike player possible. So please join my Discord down below in the description. I appreciate all of you guys. I thank you so much for watching this video, and I can't wait to keep teaching you in the next video. Peace out.